A new fire has broken out late today, and those ferocious winds that have been hampering the rescue efforts and the efforts by these firefighters to try to put out the fires you're looking at, they are picking up again tonight. That new fire, which officials are calling the Kenneth Fire this evening, it's near the border of the LA and Ventura counties. It grew quickly in just a few hours, and the governor just announced moments ago that they are deploying 900 more firefighters to go and address that fire. Now, this is coming as you are looking at live pictures right now of that fire this evening. That is what 900 firefighters are going to address just this evening. Governor Gavin Newsom announcing that a few moments ago. Now, put that on top of this. The two largest fires, the Eaton and Palisades fires, they're still 0% contained right now. Look at this mind-boggling destruction. I mean, it is entire neighborhoods that have been decimated as far as you can see. And when you look at this, of course, each of those is someone's home, and each of those had people inside of them. Right now, we're still waiting to hear more from officials, but what we know now is that true death toll in LA tonight, it is still unknown as crews are digging through the ashes of what has been left of everything that people had. CNN's Aaron Burnett is live in Pacific Palisades for us tonight. And Aaron, obviously, you got on the ground today. You've been looking at that and talking to these officials on the ground, just trying to understand the scope of this, even as they are still battling the fires that existed and new ones that are popping up this evening. What have you been seeing on the ground?
Yeah, Caitlin, you talk about that new fire and you talk, it's mind-boggling. It is. There were people grabbing their suitcases. I don't know if you can hear it, but phones going off here, evacuation orders coming in, those alerts. And that with that fire, grabbing their suitcases more than many people here in Pacific Palisades were able to do, but immediately rushing to try to evacuate. So there's that new fire. You talked about those winds. They are anticipated to pick up over these next few hours, causing more red flag warnings. Fire officials telling me their biggest fear is fire spreading, fires growing, of course. You say they're 0% contained, but also reigniting.
It's a brand new fire erupting overnight, flames now rapidly spreading in northern Los Angeles County. The nightmare there far from over as the deadly fire disaster now rages into its fourth day. The new fire is located just outside Calabasas. Police nearby arrested a man on suspicion of arson, but they say right now they cannot confirm if he's connected in any way to that new blaze. This morning, the wind threat about to pick back up as fire crews face new challenges. Overnight, an illegal drone collided with a crucial firefighting aircraft. That aircraft now grounded today. The number of dead has doubled so far to 10 people. More than 10,000 homes and businesses have been destroyed, and those numbers are sadly expected to rise. And new images of the unbelievable destruction. The LA County Sheriff says it looks like a bomb was dropped.
I have nothing. I can't even teach, and I'm a first responder. I teach people to save lives, and I couldn't even save my house. And I'm just shattered.
It's about caring for each other. Like, everyone needs help right now.
Everyone needs help. Stephanie Elam is live in Altadena, one of the areas hardest hit by this. And unusual because normally these fires are often in the hills, and now you're seeing them down in the valleys. What are you witnessing there today?
Yeah, Sarah, it's difficult to see what these people have gone through. I mean, this whole block, it's still dark out here, looks like this behind me right now, which you can see here. You can see that this house has been just decimated. The chimney, the only thing standing there, and if you look back in the corner, you can see that there's a gas fire still back there. Another one of the dangers, why they don't want people here. Also because people have been out here looting. So there are now, National Guard has been deployed out here, and I can tell you they're out here because we had to get through them to get here today. There are 8,000 personnel, including firefighters, battling not just this, the Eaton fire, which is now some 13,000 acres that have charred and burned and destroyed livelihoods, homes, the feeling of safety, and the Palisades fire, which is burning about burned through like 20,000 acres. It has a little bit of containment now, but the number of homes that have been destroyed, it is just astronomical. They're looking at more than $50 billion worth of losses here, and that number continues to go up. And then when you look at how people are trying to figure out how to put their lives together. You can see here, where do you start? Where do you begin? We cover wildfires that are massive, that are large, and have all this acreage. The difference is it's not in densely populated areas. That's the part that makes this so different. In the Palisades fire, walking around, there's entire blocks where the houses are all gone. And I can tell you, since I got here out to Altadena, you see some of the same thing here too, Sarah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're rich, working class, poor. These fires have ripped through so many neighborhoods. Stephanie, what can you tell me about anything about those 10 people who ended up being killed in these fires?
It's devastating, and that number is expected to go up according to law enforcement. And you are hearing stories of how some people didn't want to leave people behind, and then others who maybe they just couldn't get out and they thought that they would be safe. Take a listen to this one woman who lost her dad, 83-year-old Rodney Nickerson, in this fire here in Eden, the Eden fire.
This is where we've been our whole life, and my son tried to get him to leave, and my neighbors and myself. And he said he'll be fine. I'll be here when you guys come back. And he said his house would be here. His house is here, and he was here too. He was in his bed when I found him.
Just the ultimate loss. There are a lot of people who are dealing with the fact that they've lost everything, they've lost their homes, but other people are also dealing with the fact that they've lost loved ones. It's just unbelievable the amount of loss that we've seen here. In January, we don't normally see fires like this in January. It is just unprecedented, the amount of loss at this time of the year. It just goes to show you that things are changing here. The climate is changing. We're very dry after 2 very wet winters where we have all this brush that has grown up, then it dried out, and now we are off to this driest start to a wet year ever on record. This is what's leading to the situation that we're seeing here, and that's why people are saying we need to change how we respond.
I can hear some of the sort of alerts going off right now on your phones there, and that hasn't ended because the fires are still raging. Thank you so much, Stephanie Elam. It was heartbreaking to hear. It was like made us all gasp that that daughter found her father dead in his bed from the fires. I know we'll be hearing more devastating stories like this, the loss of life expected to rise. Appreciate your time and your crew for being out there during this time, Stephanie. Kate.
The fires, they are still raging, and officials fear that the danger and say that the danger is far from over. But there has been some progress made in containing some of the fires. The biggest factor in any forward progress still, the wind threat, which could complicate this fight once again. CNN's Allison Chinchar is tracking this one for us. She joins us now. And Allison, what are you seeing in terms of the wind, in terms of what they're up against, and what the next few hours look like?
Right, so they're going to have a very short window for the firefighters to really be able to make some huge advancements in those containment numbers, because while things will start to get better, they go right back to being worse on the back half of the weekend. So let's take a look. For today, you have an elevated risk around the LA area, slightly higher critical fire threat a little bit farther south. By Saturday, just a very small elevated risk area, but then Sunday, we start to see those winds pick back up, and especially on Tuesday, looking at those winds to really creep back up. So here's a look at all the fires. The white that you see here, those are the winds and the direction in which they're coming from. So for the bulk of the day, it's going to be really a north-based wind, but it will start to shift. It'll go to the east, it'll go to the west, and that's what's going to make it very difficult for the firefighters, because that can change at a moment's notice. So they'll set up a camp one spot to be able to fight a fire and have to move immediately once those winds begin to shift. Now the winds will start today still in about the 30 to 40 mile per hour range. As we go through the day, they'll start to creep back down, and by the time we get to Saturday, most of these areas really just looking at single-digit wind speeds, couple into the teens, but overall not too bad. But then we get back into Sunday and we start to see those numbers ticking back up again, 30, 40, even 50 mile per hour gusts. So like we said, we've got a very short window here where those firefighters can go out and make advancements in those containment numbers before the winds come back up again in the back half of the weekend. Even in the short term, even with the improvement of winds, you're still going to likely have some very bad air quality, not just Friday, but through the weekend. You can see all of the dots here kind of showing what that air quality is, several here in the unhealthy group, and that is not likely to change as we go into Saturday and Sunday.